here. So if you switch it on, it usually get better results. Not Thomas, but usually get better. So now if I just click this and then I say, okay, okay, I did not ask it to return in English. That's something bad. You can ask it to return in English. So it gives me the coordinate. So those are Chinese names in Guangxi province, right? How can I check this if I see that is it correct or not? Okay, I just get one, which is the Wuzhou cases. Then I can copy this, and then I go to map, and then I just open maps, google.com, and then I paste it in, and then click it. Okay, the point. But you can see, yes, it's in Guangdong province. It's not Wuzhou. Where's Wuzhou? Wuzhou is here. Although there's a historical geographical location, but the Wuzhou city did not change much. And at least this is, I think, at least like 100 kilometer between this point to this point. So if you ask it to just generate a geographical coordinate to you, it does not work and it do it badly. Okay, so how can we fix this? Again, because today we are focusing on context and MCP, so we need to go back to here, and then, you can go to the teaching slide, and then go next step, and then I can add this to MCP. This is MCP created by a Beida PKU student, and originally it can only run locally because but I host it on my own server. So you can go back to here, go to MCP, and then you can click add, and then you can click create, and then you can check it to CHGIS. Anyone here use CHGIS? Okay, there are a lot of people use CHGIS. Now I'm the person who is responsible for CHGIS. I got a lot of criticism because our website was down for 6 months. Actually, it was not down, but it got HTTP as a warning, but now everything is up. And we also create a Docker version that everyone can run it on your own machine. And that's why even like the project is ended, then the data is still on the online. And then now again you can choose streamable HTTP, and in the URL you paste this one, CHGIS-1MC.016A101.xyz MCP, and then you can save it. And now if you switch it on, if everything runs correctly, it should have 3 tools. Okay, so far so good. And then if you go back here, and then you go to new topic and do the same thing again, but this time remember, switch on the MCP, switch on this CHGIS. Okay, I add something, I say return your response in English, and then I press it. Do you have the answer? No? No one got the answer? Who got the answer? Only one, two? No one got the answer?
Still thinking.
Still thinking.
Yeah.
That's why the models are still very important, because a small model can do a lot of things, but you may need to do it. You may need to think about the step and then divide the task into small tasks that it can handle. So for example, in my case here is I send too many names to it. So the context easily get overflowed with all the names. But if every single time I just give it one name and ask it to check, then it can be much better. So it needs some kind of programming. You get it? If no, then I will try to just use a stronger model. Actually the GLM 4.5 is a stronger model. Yeah, it's faster, right? Much faster, and then so anyone here before this workshop use MCP? Oh, okay. Anyone here use ChatGPT custom-made GPT? Custom GPT. That is the one that you can make it, and then you can give special instructions, knowledge base, and give open API function calling. Okay, two. So it seems like everyone just use your chatbot out of box. That's the term, right? Out of box. But I would say that chatbot actually anything with UI, graphic, not UI, anything with GUI, graphic user interface, is not the best way to use chatbots. I don't know, you maybe you disagree with me, but let's think about this. All this LLM, what they generate text. So they generate text. If you ask it to control your machine, for example, drag a folder from your desktop to a specific places on the screen, it's very, very difficult for the machine to do it, because when you drag it, it needs to have the coordinate on the screen, and then the actions, and then keep streaming the coordinate, and then finally release it in the pace that you expect them to release it. So that is very difficult. But if we just use it to say, generate a command that I can run in the terminal to copy this folder from A to B, then that command is just a text. And that text is, you can expect that is very, very easy than just streaming that. So from my perspective, the best way to use it is using the terminal, not the chatbot. But a lot of things is very difficult to use terminal nowadays because you're too young. You're not like me. I'm old enough. So when I had my first PC, there was still the docs page. You don't know what is docs, right? Who know about docs? DOS.
Oh, God, yes.
Docs. Oh, you. Oh, I was thinking. I was looking on this. What? These people don't use docs? No way. So if you don't know, that was the system we pasted by Windows 3.1. 3.1. Windows 3.1. Now it's Windows 11, right? 11. That was 3.1, but 3.1 that is no 4. Then that is Windows NT. Windows NT that is Windows 95. Windows 95 that is Windows 98, and then Windows XP. So we have a lot. Oh, there was a Vista in between. So there are many numbers. So before that, everything you type, like if you want to see all the directory, dir, and you get all the directory. Okay, so I think that is the best way to use the chatbot, but however, it's quite difficult to use it. Now we can see there are coordinates here, right? I want to emphasize two things. One, we will check the coordinates. Let's check this one. I think I need to reverse their way, and then this is Wuzhou the same. Because this is a CHGIS data set. So it's Chinese historical geographical information system. So it has different layer of different time. If a strong models, I did not have a good prompt. My prompt is very simple here. The good prompt is to tell it this is from, because it's Ming Dynasty, I expect it understand the Ming Dynasty. It will have the time frame from the Ming Dynasty. Definitely, this model does not work in that way. But if it's good, then it can get the specific point of that specific time into it. So let's see. If I go back, let's say I have the map, and then I put this in. Most likely I need to reverse it because the Google does not work in this way. Okay. I'm quite sure it's correct because I already see the Wuzhou auto body shop. So yes, so it has been in the Wuzhou city of nowadays Wuzhou city, and I think that is also the point of it. So again, you can see why I said this is important, because you can see that correct, reliable context can help you to improve the quality of the generate answer. And in our case here, we use the data sets that has been 2 decades of accumulation of a lot of experts. So that's why it can generate quite a good answer to it. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, then the question back to the GLAM. Can we turn catalogs or museum collections or the metadata into MCP? The answer is yes, but there are limitations. I would like to suggest you to read this 2 blog posts by Dan Cohen. Dan Cohen is the provost of Northeastern University, also the dean of library of Northeastern University. And then Northeastern University is collaborating with Anthropic. That's why the Anthropic engineer helped them to build the library MCP, catalog MCP. So they have a library catalog MCP right now. But I cannot find it online. I can, beside this 2 article, I cannot find it. So I'm very surprised about that. So in that way, I built an MCP for Harvard catalog. You will find the link in the next page. I'm not going to use it here. Once I build it, and I use it with my student in class, then I have some hints why they do not release it. So the reason is like this. When you search a term on the library catalog, for example, if you search East Asian art history, how many responses you will have? I don't know, 10,000 maybe from the University of Chicago. And usually there is a pagination. That means you limit it maybe 10 items per one page, 50 items per one page. Usually for API, that is 20 items per one page. We can set it more or less, but usually are 20 items. And that response from API usually turn into a JSON file. And the JSON file is saved. Is usually, maybe 10,000 tokens. If you remember what I said, the context window of a model, generally speaking, nowadays is 100,000 28 gigabytes. Sorry, 100,000 28 token. 20. I'm really bad with this. 128,000 tokens of the context window. That means when you get the JSON file, you get 2 of the JSON file, or maybe 3 of the JSON file. The context window is already full, and then nothing can be done with the LLM. So in these 2 articles, he shows good example, but I did not see the real world like practice. Maybe they are in-house, they can do it. But the experience for me, building the Harvard catalog MCP, I found out that, wow, there's no way to solve this problem. At least in my case, there are ways to solve it, but I'm too lazy to do it. But this can be a big problem. However, I think it's still something that good to experiment with the MCP itself. So there are a couple MCPs that related to the museum. We have the Harvard catalog that I built. I found one is the Harvard Art Museum MCP that is built by a developer. But the Harvard Art Museum MCP needs an API to do it. And then the Bat Museum MCP that also needs an API key to do it. We will try the last one, which is the Art Institute of Chicago MCP server here. And I think there's some expert here who work at the art museum that can provide good query to see how good this is. So I did not show the MCP server here, but I would like to ask you to open this page, because what I want to do is I want to show you how you can get the information from a GitHub repository of an MCP server. Because this is usually what you see when you try to, after today's workshop, you may go home and, okay, I would like to try something. Actually, there are tons of MCP who use Zotero. Zotero has an MCP. Who use Obsidian? Obsidian have a lot of MCP. Who use Notion? Notion has a lot of MCP, and almost all the big software companies, they are building MCP for themselves. But the way that it is, or maybe there are a lot of community members, they're good in developers, developing software, they also build MCP. But usually what you see when you search it online, then you will say, oh, okay, it's a GitHub repository. Anyone use GitHub here? Not many. So I will show you first. Once you get into GitHub, then you will see all this. you don't need to pay attention to all this. These are the file of the software. So what is GitHub repository is GitHub is a architecture infrastructure for developers to store their code, their original code. And then if you go into it, then you usually see that all this kind of files that are the original code of the software. And then you just go down and then you will see the with.me file. And then you will see what are the features of it. It can search by title. It can search by get specific artwork. And then full text search. And then artist search. Find artwork by artist. Find artwork by medium. And then art gallery prompts. So you can have all this. And then, okay, then you will usually see this part is usage with code desktop. That is always common in almost all the MCP server. Okay, then you will see this. This is what we call a JSON file. Okay, so far so good. Once you find this, you may already get 50% success rate of adding the MCP to your client. In our case is Cherry Studio. So you can copy it and then go back to our Cherry Studio. Again, go into MCP, and then you can go into MCP here, and then you can see add, right? Before you kicking add, can you check here? You don't have a green check, right? You have a question, you have an exclamation mark here, right? Can you click into it? And then you will see there are two things. One is called UV, and then one is called bun. Can you see this? Right? You can see this. Okay, good. And then can you install them? Once you finish, then go back, you will see this check. Okay, if you click into it, you got UV installed, you got bun installed. If you don't, then you install them. Okay, those are one for Python, one for Node.js. That's usually the most popular programming language to write MCP server. So far so good. Okay, who is using Windows machine here? So good. You know, every single time I teach this, when someone uses Windows, we have so many problems. The reason usually come from people use CJK characters for their username, and they cannot run it. But no Windows machine here, and also means University of Chicago are so rich. At least the people here are rich, because you know that people who use Macintosh usually are richer than the Windows machine. I'm just kidding. No. Okay, so now if you have both of them installed, and then you go back, and then you can see add, right? We use quick create a lot of time, but this time, since we already copy a JSON, you can click import from JSON. And then you can paste your JSON here. And then you click OK. That does not work. That does not work. Okay? Okay, let's try something. You can see the command here, right? npx. Maybe you try to bun. Still not work. No, we cannot use UV for this one. Still not work. Am I correct? Right? this is something that I don't understand. I checked the JSON format, it should not have any problem. And then I also checked the other things that it should not have any problem. So it seems we cannot do it in this way. But if you are using other MCP, if you tonight you go home, you find an MCP that's interesting, that you want to try it, usually the best way is to import from JSON and you just put it into it. But once you encounter the same problem, you can click OK, cancel it. Again, we add, and then we click create. And if you remember the name of, if we go back to see, the name is Arctic-Museum, and then we change the name MCP server to Arctic-Museum. And then this time you can see standard input output. We keep this one. We keep this one. In the past 2 times, we used the streamable HTTP, right? And then we just keep this one. So far, so good. And then now here we put npx. Okay, you can see immediately it has some package with string. It's called Taobao. And that's it. So that's why I said it has close relationship with Chinese company. I'm not saying this is a bad thing because their target audience may be the Chinese user. So this is very good for Chinese user. And then okay, oh, so far so good. And then if you go back, you can see here that is ARGS. That means arguments. So once you see this argument, you know that okay, this is 1 argument, this is 2 argument. Can you copy and paste them? If you copy and paste them and keep everything, now if you save it, and then run it, oh no way. Why? Go back to the argument. If you delete it, you see it say arg1, arg2 without the quotation mark. And also without the comma. A lot of people hate programming because always this kind of like quotation mark, comma, make them really, really angry. So now I save it again. Good luck. And I get it through. Successful, so you can see 5 twos homes. Does it work?
Yeah.
Okay. Now go back to check. And at this time, MCP, switch off the CHGIS, switch all others, just keep this Arctic Museum on, and then have a new chat, and then go back to their page. And then go down. You can see here it provides you with 3 queries. Okay, let's try the first one. Can you show me the paint titled Nighthawks? Then if I go back, I just put this in and then press enter. Okay, what are you doing? Okay, usually in this case, I will just delete it. Let's switch. Honestly, I would say this MCP is quite good, especially it also fetch the image to you.
After I successfully get this kind of thing, and then it follow up with a server error saying 创建流是请求失败.
That means the model can create the model wants to create an other request, but the model failed to create that request because if you remember what I said, all the model, how they call the tools, they are not really using the tools. They are creating a text command, which the software itself understanding this command is asking to use this tools, and then it will call the tool. Once it failed to create it, then it is failed. It even provides me with the link with a triple IF link. Do you successfully get it? Do you think it's a better solution than a chatbot? Right? So why I want to show this is, so if you have a collection, building a chatbot, that means you need to maintain the model. You need to maintain the vector knowledge base. You need to maintain the traffic of the model. Why I mention this? Because we build a chatbot. The chatbot is called Digital China Worldwide Chatbot. We did the same thing, and then we did not get positive feedback. A lot of people just say it's not useful and it's not like matching the commercial application. Honestly, it's true. Because we are very difficult to match the commercial company now in building all this kind of very frontier AI tools, right? But at the same time, we have the resources like the collection and also all the database or data sets that you can provide context to the user. Think about that. If 100 users use your chatbot, you need to pay for all their tokens, pay for all their embeddings, pay all of them. But if they just use Cherry Studio or any desktop client that support MCP, they can just connect with the MCP, and then every token that is managed by themselves, then you have less to worry about. And then you can just build an MCP for people, and especially you understand your collection, like this one is really good. I think then help people to use their collection in a better way with AI. I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you have any like use case you want to try with this, since you are the person that really familiar with this collection?
Can you read?
Sorry?
Can you read?
For example,
Yeah.
like how, if you have a collection, like there is something that you want to see,
Yeah,
is there in your collection, or if like any use case
yeah,
that in your daily work
yeah,
that you want to use it,
yeah.
yeah, then can you think of any of those cases?
Any work that I
Like
pull up?
no, I mean any of your patients are using it, like
Yeah.
when they come to you, they may ask you a question,
Yeah.
then can I have those questions that, yeah, like use cases.
Okay. Okay, that's a good question. Okay. How many Chinese paintings are in the collection?
I would say that this one may not.
Oh, really?
But let's see. Okay, so what it does is it will use a full text search to search the Chinese, but full text search does not work. Full text search does not work. You got the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So that means the full text search one is not working. And finally, okay, this is the number.
No, that's the total artwork in the collection,
Total artwork.
which is way bigger than that. Not the like
Way bigger than that. That means this is not.
number of artworks in the collection. I think it's 200,000 or something. But yeah, the Chinese painting maybe we have 500. So yeah.
Let me see. Usually
Oh,
situation
But
like
we have
this.
different response from.
I don't know. Yeah, we don't. Here say that approximately 200 to 300 Chinese paintings. Still like that.
Still like
No, that's approximate. No, I think that's right because that should be based on what is published on the website.
oh, okay.
That should be right. Yeah.
Okay, then I will try to do it again with a ChatGPT 5 model. Let's see this one better or not.
That number seems okay because that's based on what's available in collection online.
Yeah, because it cannot go into your vault and
Yeah,
then
our own database, yes. Yeah, so 200 to 300 is.
so another way to think about how you can use it, for all the use cases we have done, we only use one MCP. But you can make it into combo. Think about how this MCP can combo with the Wikidata MCP, right? And then also with maybe other MCP. One way to do it is if you have a research workflow, you use Obsidian and or Notion, and then you use this. You can easily to say, hey, I hate ChatGPT because every single time I use it, it just asks me more questions. I don't know, with this 5 model, and every single time when I ask it, okay, let me do it again with a mini. The little brother is always better than the big brother. For example, if you have Notion and also this MCP, and then you can say, get all this information, create a page in Notion for this artwork, and then later you have another new MCP. You say, go to Notion, get this artwork, check with this MCP, and get the new information, update the Notion. So you can create a workflow that automates some repeated tasks. Okay, it still say like,
Yeah, that doesn't somehow we have very nice response. Yeah, I don't know what that.
oh, so
Yeah.
that one has better response, right?
Yeah.
That one is more correct. Maybe I maybe the MCP determined this is not a nice guy, so I'm not good giving the better answer to it. So far so good. Any question? Okay, so summary. Providing context help to overcome some of the LLM limitation, such as knowledge cut off and hallucination. GLAMs are reliable sources of contextual information for researchers. We all know that, right? Especially for humanity researchers, we all need to use library. We all need to use archive. We all need to use a database. But what is the better way to integrate database if we want to adopt AI in our workflow? MCP can be a good entry point. I'm not saying that it does not have problem. The Harvard catalog MCP I built with AI taught me a lot on the limitation of MCP. I think everyone who develop MCP, they may have the same question and same problem of it. But I would say that at this moment, especially is evolving, MCP still is a good way for entering all this kind of different scenario of research. I prepare other use cases, but it's very target audience because at very beginning, Leong said this is for the GLAM. I create an MCP called cataloger MCP. It's targeting the cataloger for doing the Library of Congress subject headings recommendation. I think most of you, any cataloger here? Oh, you're a cataloger? Most of you may not use this MCP. So if you go a couple pages of the slide, then you will see it. That is a MCP that I decided for catalogers. But I'm not going to show it here. So I would like to have your questions or comments or everything. Thank you very much.
A question about Chandra from Data Lab. Do they enumerate the different scripts that they're able to handle with OCR? Chandra from
Yes.
Data Lab. Do they have a limit or do they identify the various scripts, language scripts that are available for OCR under their system?
They have on their page, I remember they have like mentioned that they can do 30 something languages. So at this moment, I tried handwritten Japanese, I tried Korean, I tried handwritten Chinese, simplified or traditional, and it seems quite good. I would, if you want, I would like to show you some of the results I did. So this one is from old Chinese newspaper. This can be nightmare to a lot of OCR model. I think it did a good job, except because if you read it, you know that this is the starting point to read it, but the model determined this is the starting point to read it.
Yeah.
So this is something that is bad. But let's say so sometimes it has problem, but I'm too ambitious with it, and then it definitely is going to say, no, I'm not going to work for you. So forget about it. Yeah. But anyway, so this is the same. I'm too ambitious. Honestly, I don't know how many of you can read this. Definitely, I'm not the one. So the model say no, forget about it. I'm just stop here. But for this one, like this is the one that we just showed. For this one, you can see it's not only giving you the text, it gives you the BB box. That is called a boundary box. That is the coordinate of the image on it. And then it's showing. So why this is important? If you can write program, you can easily to extract just that part. And also, you can see here there's a data label. So it can distinguish, is this a text? Is this a note? Is this a footnote? Is this a header and footer? That is very good if you want to only have the text. You don't want to have the footnote. You know, a lot of Chinese modern books, they have footnote instead of like a endnote. So each page, if you use the traditional OCR, then you just give, even they can OCR it, they just give you every text. then you need to spend a lot of time to clean it. But now, because of all this label, I can just write a program to say, get all the label out, get all the label with the text out.
I have just on this script, just quick question. Did it read the cells? Did it read the cells on the?
Yeah, they did not read the context of the seal, but they read it as an image.
It's an image, but they couldn't recognize them as text.
No, because also the original image, I think, is very difficult to organize. But if you have a higher definition, maybe some of the model can do it. Yeah. We try a lot of things. I cannot show this because this is from one project. And okay, this one. Yeah, this is the one of the texts that also Japanese. And then you can see, yeah, it refused to do it where we should, but it just repeat everything. This one, and then this is very classical Chinese old books, historical text. In the past, because all of this easily get messed up, but now you can see almost, I would say 99% of correct of the text. I did a lot. I tried to use different kind of text to test it. Yeah. Yeah, this is difficult, honestly. And then this one, this is easy to read, but could be difficult to OC out because it's kanji and also with Japanese, and then you can see even it can OC out like original from the Keio University. So yeah, this model can run on your own machine. If you can write a program, then you can like not doing it one by one, but doing it in a massive way.
I was just gonna say, there's a Japanese researcher who's developed a Kusashiji OCR.
Yeah.
That's on GitHub.
Yeah.
That apparently is quite effective.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to judge it, but apparently.
I think she now is in Google. Oh.
No, I was just looking her up. She's moved on to some other organization, but she was at Google.
Yeah, she was in Google. After she developed that, and then she moved to
And
Google.
Google saw
And then now is in another, yeah.
And now she apparently has developed a chat bot that will chat to you in classical Japanese. In case you were needing a nerd. Yeah.
I have a question. So thank you for actually for showing this. Ski, I really learned a lot. The question is, probably maybe some of the auditorium in the group have the same. Like when I did this, the AI was not really a thing. So I did really the older version. So for my dissertation research, I compiled a database of stone paintings, about 1,500 of them, transcribed the images, so not the images, but the physical dimension data. Because for me, the research question is, I'm looking into the pattern of the painting sizes. So for me, I upload everything into GitHub as a CSV file, so it sits there, and then I just stop. But now, after hearing your presentation in the workshop, now I'm excited, like learning this MCP. Before I know that, I try to play with it. I download my own data set, feed it into ChatGPT, I start to ask questions to perform the analysis. So nowadays people don't need to learn Python to verify the result that I have. And also I have a dissertation that's almost like a written form explaining the thing. I mean, I'm a little bit hesitant of feeding the whole dissertation into the ChatGPT to do it. But can I say that understanding this, what I can do after, say, if I have the time, if I'm working on a book that expand this database or trying to put more argument, how does this MCP things work for me?
I'm on the same boat with you. When I did my dissertation, I did not use any digital tools or digital methods because that was 6 years, 7 years ago. I graduated, and then that means you count back 5 years. That was almost 10 years ago when I began my dissertation. One primary obstacle was the OCR. Until last 6 months, I start to see the light of all this, and definitely I'm already starting to gather all the things that I have, and then start to put them together with all the OCR, and then starting from there. So your question is, if I understand correctly, you already have the data sets,
Mm.
and then you have the book.
Or I'm writing one,
Or
or I'm
writing
the
the book,
presentation.
or writing the book. So you want to know how you can make good use of the data set with the book. There are a couple of ways. First, you can use MCP, right, to get into it. But I will not go into that direction. I will go into the direction what I mentioned in terminal. Because you already have the data set, most likely that are CSV file
Yeah.
or Excel sheet, right?
Yeah.
CSV file. So CSV file has one problem with all the vector store. That's why I said that why I suggest Liang not to do it, because when you get structured tabular data into vector store, it has difficulties to recognize which is a row, which is a column, unless you have different way of doing it. So I would say that the best way is use a file-based approach. Get the CSV file onto your machine, start the terminal, use something like Quad Code, Gemini CLI, or Open or Codex. If you are on the open source side, use Open Code, and then start with something experiment to say that, okay, now you can see my CSV file there. This is what I want to do. Maybe you say that I want to find out all the information about this. Or maybe you have, let's say, all the sentence that from different different text. You want to say that now I want you to do the name entity extraction. For this text, I want to have all the pages, all the people's name, all the artwork. Extract it and create a new column for me. In that way, it can do it one by maybe writing a script or doing it in a better way than just using MCP. Because even what I'm trying to show you is MCP can get reliable context, but you can still see it is very selective, right? That's why you have the result that different from me by using the same MCP, because it is different from model, different from a lot of things. But you can use the models to do one thing is writing code for you, so that you can better to do analyze with the existing data set.
I see.
That's the starting point. After that, then you can think about how you can use all this information from API or from different enrich your research or your data set.
Okay. Thank you.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I was gonna ask a very dumb question, like if any of the MCP we mentioned need access to internet, and I found out they do. So I'm just curious, what advantages of locally deployed AI models have over, say, online LLMs, say OpenAI, ChatGPT and stuff?
Okay, the question is two parts. One, you ask, can MCP access to external resources, right?
Yeah.
That we need internet, right? But think about that, MCP getting information from resources, but not sending your information to those resources.
Okay.
Correct, right? Now the second part of the question is local model. If you run local model, that means everything is local. When you have a query, it did not go to OpenAI server. It did not go to Azure server. It did not go to Google server. Everything is processing within your own machine. Even you switch on the Wi-Fi or connect to the internet, they are still on your local machine. unless you have a spy bot installed by someone that I don't know, but otherwise, every data is still on your local machine.
Gotcha. Thank you,
Okay,
Professor.
yeah, no problem.
Okay, this is another dumb question.
No questions are
To
done.
follow up on his. So, when you're saying that MCP goes to OpenAI, right, to,
MCP does not go to OpenAI. MCP is just another form of API. It goes to the library catalog, not in a way that usual API does. But it's still a way of getting information from the library catalog. But they do not go to OpenAI.
so on your local machine, you have your local database, your local data set, that you don't want to load into any big LLM. So you have your local PC and then you've got the cloud. How's that interaction?
Okay,
Working.
first I did not show you is I need to go back to LM Studio. What I show you in LM Studio is only the OCR model. The OCR model. I cannot switch off my Wi-Fi right now because it's connected to Zoom. If I switch it off, then I will be offline from Zoom. But let me try to do one thing is I have a lot of models here. I have the Chairman model, I have the Gamma model, I have a Chairman 0.6b model, and then also the OpenAI 20b model. They are the parameters downloaded on my machine. It's on this machine. So now even I switch off the Wi-Fi, cut off from the internet. If I run this model, it takes some time to load it. Then every question, for example, data set, email, I send it to it, is running on my model. It's not sending anything to OpenAI, to Google, or to Alibaba. So this is the idea of running it locally. But the problem is, you may ask the question is, but the MCP goes out. Yes, if you need data from external sources, then you need to use MCP. But if in case you already have everything, you have your SQLite database on your machine, you have all the Excel file, the CSV file on your machine, you don't need to use MCP. You can just run the model. For example, let's say I ask a question, who is the Japanese Prime Minister? So you see it's slow. It's telling you if it's OpenAI model, but actually it's running on my machine. It's not going to the OpenAI. So it's October 4th, 2021. It's not going to OpenAI. And there are a couple of things, right? There are some argument to say that now you do a Google search, you're spending, you're wasting a lot of water, you're wasting a lot of carbon.
Yeah.
But if you can run it on a machine, hear that, even the fan is not. That means that is a little amount of power is consuming if you can run it on your local machine. And now their local machine that not only one machine, you can stack a cluster of mini laptop to run a full open weight model, big model, DeepSeek model, Kimi M2 thinking on your local machine. If you can stack them up, then you can do a lot of things. Just think about like you have the text of all the period that you study, and then you want to process them to do NER, and then you can have a slave who works for you 24/7 whole day to get them all the names and all the, yeah. That's the idea behind there. I'm not saying they are slave.
Could you quickly show us how to use the, for example, the Chandra OCR on our end?
Okay, so first you need to so far, if you are not doing programming, the way I use it is you download this. This is called LM Studio, and then once you download LM Studio, you can come here, discover. This open a new world to you because you can download all this model if you can use them. Then you can just come here and find Chandra. And then you will see all this model here. And then GGUF is a format of the model, and MLXN is another format. But I would suggest you, from my experience, use the GGUF model, and then once you have it, you can see that, for example, if I come to this one, I did not download it, then you can see here I have this rocket here. That means I can full GPU offload possible. That means I can load the model completely into my GPU and run it. That's the best way to do it. So pick the model that it can go fully into your video web, and then you download it. And then you can start to just, once you download it, and then come on. You can just start chatting with it, and then you can have a new chat, and then you load the model here, you pick the model and then load it. But one thing is you need to, if I click the Chandra model, you can see their context link. Get the context link as large as possible, and then you can load the model. Once you reach, like you can see, that's exit the ability of my machine, and then I can just go back a little bit to see, okay, GPU 20 gigabyte, it can run on my machine. Then I can just load the model. Once it load it, then you can see the picture here. You can attach a picture to do it. It also provides a server, which if you can do programming, you can use the server to do it like image by image without uploading them like in the user interface. And yeah, one thing about this is what I want to say is, yep. So far, this is the way to use it. I think everyone can if you use a Macintosh, if you bought it after 2021, you can almost use it. I'm very sure that you can use it. But if you bought it before 2021, let's say 2019, then you may not be able to use it because at that time, the Mac was still Intel based. You need to have a M series base, which means the Apple Silicon, to run it.
Thank you.
Can you tell us more about your digital China chatbot? How you built it, and why didn't the user like it, and how would you do it differently next time?
Okay, Chris is not online. Chris Chang, who is the project manager at ACLS, and also Joshua from Princeton East Asian Library, we the three of us are kind of like put two projects together. One is the Digital China Worldwide, another one is the ACLS project. And then the Digital China Worldwide originate from a conference in 2023. The conference name was the Tools of Trade at Boston at Harvard. That was a conference organized by Professor Peter Bo and I. And in that conference, we got 140 something presentation from all over the world in the East Asian digital projects. And then we found out that there are a lot of good projects that is not noticed by researcher. So Professor Peter will say that, hey, maybe we should build a directory of all this Chinese study related projects. And I was in charge of it, and I developed the directory, and then I quickly found out that the ACLS is doing the same thing. Yeah, and then I talked to Chris, and then I said that, hey, maybe I lift the data to you. I will try something new with the chatbots. So what I did is similar to you. I built a practice database, and then I did not fully program it because once I fully program it, I have a lot of problem to face, including the security and a lot of other problems. So I use tools. I can't remember which one I used. Maybe that was the Langfo or Langfo. I use Langfo as the back end and just very simple HTML as the front end, and then put them together. We use OpenAI 4.0 mini API because the 4 version at that time was expensive. We did a calculation, if 100 people use it, then it can like bankrupt our project. So we use a 4 model, and with the sponsorship of some credits from Harvard. And then I set the temperature to almost 0.1. The reason for that is I don't want hallucination. And I also wanted to do something like, if I don't know, it just say I don't know. So in that case, a lot of user feedback was like, it's dumb. Because it always say I don't know. Yeah, then but if I have the temperature higher, then we can see that's difficult. That's difficult because of the creativity usually cause hallucination, right? And then the second question is, I think something you also encountered this morning. I cannot remember when Stephen or Peter asked you to ask a follow-up question. To a lot of you may see that, oh, that's easy because every single time you use OpenAI chatbots or Google Gemini chatbot, you can always ask follow-up question. But if you design your own chatbot from scratch, you find out it's very difficult because it has something we call it in-context learning. That means the previous conversation become the context of your next conversation. And then it become longer, and then the rate of hallucination higher, and then the context window becomes full, then it's collapse. And then if you're thinking about, okay, let's have everyone keep their chat history, that is even worse. Because that means you need to have the whole system of authentication, you need to have the whole system of storing their chat history, and that have a lot of components you have to taken care of, right? So that's why this is the experience to say, if you're a small team, this is not your primary work. because you want to provide a better exploration to your user of your collection. Maybe you can think about another way, which is similar, something like MCP or other. There could be other better way to just provide a complete chatbot. Instead of a complete chatbot, you can just provide the context provider as a context provider for other LLM. No problem. I don't want to see you fail. Because I will.
What's the next thing you wanna work on?
Honestly, I don't know. This is because now, if you ask me anything related to AI, I would say I don't know, because you can see the last 6 months, right? The OCR part of it, it can immediately like change everything. Then I would say that there could be a lot of new things that coming out that we don't expect. We are working on a project that we try to see if we can. That is a RAG project, retrieval augmented generation project. We try to see if we can do RAG across multiple language, across the Eurasia, from Europe to Japan, as a kind of like corridor. We have Tibetan, Sanskrit, Japanese, and Chinese, and Arabian languages, and also some European languages. That is a collaborating project. And then for myself, the first thing I want to do is I want to develop a research workflows that fits humanities researcher without chatbot. Going back to terminal, that is for my teaching courses. I teach courses at Harvard. And then the second thing I'm doing also is for humanities scholars, I mentioned one thing is we don't have ground truth. This morning, Peter showed good idea of ground truth, right? But to me, actually, honestly, I don't think that's ground truth, because that is not like doing mathematics. Doing mathematics is 1 + 1 = 2, right? That is kind of like ground truth to engineer. But for us, I can see your point this morning, Peter, is you want the sentence is without some noise, but at the same time preserve the information. But at the same time, if you see the out-of-box German of the 2.15 model and even your conditioned model, they kind of match what you want, but may not like. So the ground truth is what we expect, rather than the ground truth in physics or mathematical sense, right? But that is different people have different ground truth in humanities. For example, some of you may like Li He's poetry, but some of you may like Du Fu's poetry. And then if you ask the one that who love Li He's poetry, then they may say Li He is the best. And if you ask the one that who love Du Fu is the best. So there is not a ground truth who is the best. And how LLM can understand that kind of situation, and what is, if we don't use ground truth as a evaluation and benchmarking, what kind of way that we can use for benchmarking and evaluation? Because that is very important to humanities research. The beauty of humanities is we don't have a unified answer, right? And even different times, the best answer is different. And so this is something that I may be interested in.
You would have a lot of happy users if you were to take up the Donvong project, Ariel Stein's material and so on. There's such a vast body of the resources that are already available that I think you would find it easier to put together meaningful kinds of results, just using what's there already without having.
You mean the Dunhuang project?
International Donvong project.
I think they have their own team of building the AI part of it.
I see.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but from AAS, what I heard is they may have their own team of doing the AI part of it. And also, I don't know about University of Chicago, but different institutions, there are always people who support using AI in their research, but some people are more like keep the traditional way and then try to stay a little bit in distance to observe the long run of AI before they really jump into it.
Given what you presented today, though, I find it hard to believe that you wouldn't be able to complement whatever, for instance, International Donvong is able to do with their own AI approaches. I'd encourage you in that direction. So,
Yeah, because everyone who have collections, data sets, reliable context, they can easily turn what they have into something that can be integrated into AI, into at least into the chatbots, I would say. But also a lot of people may have hesitations at this moment to really taking on this mission. I myself, I would say that you may consider me as someone that who advocates all this AI research, but I always have the questions of how does it look like? Because I can tell you one story recently happened with the ChatGPT O3 model. So I asked the O3 model to find out historical sources for me. I had some very successful cases to locate the historical sources with the O3 model. And then, but one case, I asked it to locate the historical sources to me. And then he returned the answer with the quotation. And the quotation were written in the same style of the author. So I was really happy. Wow, this is great. But once I checked all the bibliography and then go back to the book, I found out they did not exist. But the surprising point is they really understand the author's opinion. They really can catch which is the point the author want to argue, and they really can written in the author's style. I even show them to two experts of that specific historian. They will consider, yes, it should be written by that person, but actually no, it's written by OpenAI. And I found out the reason is that they do retrieval augmented generation. They get other text from that person, read it, understand it, and then write something that try to entertain it. But that is only happened with that specific model. I use ChatGPT 5 and other later model. They don't have the same problem.